Most of my time is just to get up in the morning. Andy Warhol spent his final months creating art nobody talks about. He made paintings with his own urine. He drew explicit images of body parts. He documented every conversation, every scandal, every secret. But his last sketchbook contained something different. One page was so shocking that when his assistants found it, they covered it in black ink. The page wasn't about celebrities or soup cans. It was about the real reason he was terrified of hospitals. What he drew explains why a simple surgery killed him. The truth was hidden for decades. Andy Warhol was born on August 6, 1928 in a poor little apartment in Pittsburgh. His full name back then was Andrew Warhol. His parents had come to America from Slovakia, trying to escape hunger and hard times. But life in Pittsburgh wasn't much easier. They lived in a small apartment with barely enough space for their family. His father, Andre, worked in dangerous jobs like mining and construction. He came home every night covered in dirt, worn out but still trying to smile for his children. They moved around a lot because they couldn't afford to stay in one place too long. One of their homes was on Bean Street, another on Dawson Street. It was a tough neighborhood filled with other poor immigrant families who were also just trying to survive. Andy grew up wearing old clothes passed down from his brothers Paul and John. There were times when they didn't even have enough money for food. His mother, Julia, did everything she could to keep the family going, often sewing, cleaning, and praying. In 1936, when Andy was just 8 years old, something terrible happened. He got very sick with a condition called Sydenham's chorea. His body started shaking and he couldn't control it. He had to stay in bed for weeks. Sometimes he would lie there, completely still, staring at the ceiling, afraid he might never be normal again. His skin turned pale, his hair thinned. He missed so much school because of it. And when he did go, the other kids made fun of him. They called him names and pushed him around for looking different. But during all those quiet hours at home, his mother brought him magazines filled with pictures of movie stars. Greta Garbo, Shirley Temple. Andy would stare at them and start to draw. He'd cut out their faces and make collages. He was trapped in his body, but in his mind he was free. That small kitchen table where he lay became his first studio. He later said that being sick like that actually helped him become who he was. Around that same time, his parents gave him a little brownie camera. He built a tiny dark room in their basement and started taking pictures. That camera became one of the most important tools in his life. Even though he would grow up to be known for wild parties and strange friends, Andy always kept something deeply private about himself. His mother, Julia, was extremely religious. She prayed every single day and took Andy with her to the Zantine Catholic Church. The church was filled with golden icons and images of saints. Andy would just sit and stare at them for hours. They gave him comfort. They gave him inspiration. And even after he became famous, even after all the flashy nights in New York, he still secretly went to church many times a week. He even helped pay for his nephew to become a priest and used to quietly serve food at homeless shelters. When he died in 1987, over 2,000 people came to St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York to remember him. And one art historian shocked everyone by saying Andy had helped convert someone to faith before he passed. But the moment that changed, everything came in May 1942. Andy was just 13 years old when his father died. Andre had been working in West Virginia and he drank some contaminated water on the job because he had already been sick from a surgery. Years earlier, his body couldn't fight off the infection. He died from tuberculosis peritonitis. When they brought his body home, they laid it in their tiny living room for 3 full days, just like their religious tradition said they should. Andy was so scared he ran and hid. He couldn't even look at his father's face. After that, life got even harder. Andy and his brother Paul started going door to door selling fruits and vegetables. Andy would also sketch people on the street for a few cents. The family didn't have money for real art lessons, so Andy ordered mail-in courses and practiced at home. School didn't get any easier Because of his illness, Andy looked different from the other kids. His skin was light. His nose was slightly off-center. His voice was soft. Classmates bullied him constantly. They punched him. They laughed at how he walked and talked. Sometimes he just stayed home and refused to go back. All of this left deep scars. Even when he grew up, he couldn't stop thinking about how he looked. He even had surgery later to fix his nose. But instead of letting the bullying break him, Andy did something else. He turned it into his armor. In the 1960s, he dyed his hair silver. He wore wigs, makeup, and scarves. He became someone no one could ignore. The kid they used to beat up became the man who made being different into a kind of power. In high school, Andy didn't just survive, he surprised everyone. At Shenley High School in Pittsburgh, he graduated in 1945 at just 16 years old. Out of 278 students, he ranked 51st. Teachers didn't know what to make of him. While other kids were drawing bowls of fruit, Andy was sketching soup cans and toothpaste tubes. He'd win big art awards but still be seen as strange. His illness was still affecting him, but all those hours stuck in bed had trained his eyes to see the world differently. He didn't want to paint flowers. He wanted to paint fame. Later that year, in September 1945, Andy got into the Carnegie Institute of Technology. He was one of 60 freshmen in the art program. Because the war had just ended, most of the students were women. Andy struggled in school. His old illness had left his hands shaky, and he couldn't always paint neatly. Some professors wanted to kick him out, but other students, mostly veterans, stood by him. The school focused on commercial design, not fancy fine art. So Andy found a place there. He worked hard, even drawing covers for the student magazine. He finally graduated in 1949 with a Bachelor of Fine Arts. During college summers, he worked in Pittsburgh department stores doing window displays. He learned how to grab people's attention, how to arrange products like they were part of a story. But even then, his art was seen as too feminine. His lines were soft, his colors delicate. Some clients didn't like it, but Andy kept going. The most important influence in his college life was a teacher named Robert Lepper. He taught Andy to look at everyday objects like they were art. Soup cans,